Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Young and Bold segment brought to you by the glamorous team of Elevation Global Media Group. I'm your host, Destiny Bell.
And I am Crystal.
So, today we are discussing the topic of young, black, and educated. And today we are two beautiful, educated women. So, we have experience. I am currently a student at University of Maryland College Park with a major of broadcast journalism. Crystal, tell them about your history.
Well, yes, I am a college graduate. I do have a college graduate from an HBCU, Johnson
Mm-hmm.
C. Smith University, and the CIAA is actually this weekend. Well, the past weekend. So yeah, I'll be celebrating and doing stuff. But yes, I got my bachelor's degree in communications. So yeah.
And you're working in your field currently. Like this is
I am
everything you dreamed of. So
definitely, yes, and I am grateful to be able to work in my field, which I
yes.
obtained my degree, because there are a lot of college students that graduate and thinking that I'll be working in my field, and then when you
Mm-hmm.
think about it, it's a lot of people that don't work in their field once they graduate. So I'm just happy and blessed to be able to work in my field. But the thing about that is it took a long time. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated from college in 2008, which was what, 13,
I
14
was
years
7.
ago. so so and I didn't start working in my field until about 7 or 8 years later.
Mm.
So I mean, it can be a struggle like right after you graduate. But let's go ahead and continue so we can bring on our guests to
Yes.
chime in on this conversation.
So for our first guest that we have today, her name is Bree Robinson. She is a close friend near and dear to my heart. We actually met spring 2021 in my math class, which we did together. She is a woman, gender, and sexuality studies major with a thematic concentration in social justice, a Black middle class woman, and a former collegiate athlete. Bree is currently seeking to earn her bachelor's and become an entrepreneur. And I just want to add out there, Bree is one of the strongest people I know, so she's gonna make it. She's passionate to into the federal workforce and to prevent slash rescue domestic and internationally human trafficked victims and survivors. She loves artwork and a good film, traveling, and to talk to people. Bree, welcome to our show.
Thank
We're,
you. Thank you.
we're
Hi, welcome. I'm so happy to have you on.
And for our next guest, we have one of my, fun cousins, Seth McKnight. He's a computer science major and a junior at Morgan State University. Represent. He's from Abingdon, Maryland. He's currently a resident assistant of an all-male freshman dorm on campus while seeking to complete his bachelor's degree in computer science. Seth is planning to obtain a career in the tech industry after graduation. We are so happy and blessed to have y'all here. Are you excited to be a part of the conversation?
Well, thank you. Yes, I am.
I'm very excited. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. So the first question I want to ask you both is, like,
Wait,
when
hold
I,
on,
oh,
Destiny. Before we get into asking questions and starting a conversation, can you just I want Bree and Seth just to tell us a little about yourself, like
oh yeah.
what's your major, um, and things like that. We're gonna get into questions later, but
Mhm.
let's just let our viewers know a little about you. Whoever want to go first is fine.
I'll start. Okay. Well, um, I'm Seth McKnight, and I major in computer science, and I attend Morgan State University. I'm from Harford County, Maryland, and I just been trying to shape myself to be the best leader I can, and
I
that
know
is why
that's right.
that is why I took this resident assistant position at this school. Um, I also previously attended the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, so I'm definitely a strong advocate for HBCUs.
Mm-hmm. And Bree.
And I am Bree Robinson. I am I'm from PG County, Maryland. I attend the University of Maryland, College Park. Um, I I'm a women, gender, sexuality studies major. The reason why I chose that major was I had a previous background in social work education at a former school. I was a transfer back in 2020, and UMD did not have any type of social work program. So I went with women's studies, and I just felt really compelled by the description of what of like, the discourse and everything that they talk about and discuss. And I guess it kind of aligned with my values and what I wanted to achieve with helping vulnerable communities, for a professional career, possibly. And yeah, that is a little bit about me.
So thank you both for answering. But majors aside, what do you all aspire to do with your lives? Like post college, where do you see yourselves in like maybe 5 to 10 years?
After college, I see myself, of course, joining the tech industry. Right now, I'm kind of like contemplating whether or not I want to pursue my master's degree and get my cybersecurity, master's. But in this world, I want to shape this world and build leaders and get connections and make some money.
Make some money.
For me, I guess post-college, I did have plans on going to get my master's. However, I think like just financially, it's not feasible for me at the moment. I'm like strongly trying to get a job in like the federal government right now. So that it'll be like a smoother transition for me post-college. I'll have something when I graduate. And what I would like to do with my life in like 5 years, I guess. So I could see myself possibly like having a family. And I just really want to be around and in a community serving people that cannot really do for themselves. And definitely with violence prevention and specifically sexual violence prevention. So yeah, that is my push and my goal for life as of right now.
Do you both have like a really big support system when it comes to college? Because I know college is hard, and to even think about like what your life could be like in the next decade, I know that that's a lot to balance as one person. So like, can y'all speak on that experience?
Well, I believe going to college definitely like shows you like who is like really for you and who like really supports you. It shows you how independent you are before and kind of afterwards, because it's definitely a learning experience.
Financially, I think like college, there's a huge issue, I think, with like just college tuition in general, and the fact that it's governmentally funded. It should be allotted to like everyone, equity. It should be available to everyone to be able to attain an educational or higher learning degree or certificate. But thankfully, I do have a support system that has been there through high school, college, and I can say that I'm pretty privileged to have that. Whereas I know some who don't. And I guess it just makes me stop and think like, wow, I've played basketball throughout my so most of my college career, and being on scholarship, I didn't have to worry about housing. I didn't have to worry about books and fees and all the other little expenses and things like that, and having like stipends during the summer. And once I stopped playing, it made me think about, what a privilege that was. And now that I'm on the academic side, or the NARP
NARP.
I'm like getting a taste of like actually appreciating my, educational career. Like, so yeah.
Can you tell them what NARPs are? Sorry, some people probably
NARP,
don't know what NARPs are.
so NARP, NARP stands for non-athletic regular people.
Non what? Non-athletic regular people.
Yes,
Yes, that's what the athletes call the regular students.
right.
Okay, so let me chime in for a second. Um, Destiny, you are a college student as well. So tell us your experience as far as support system that you might have, or how important do you think is a support system is for a college student?
I think that having a good support system helps you grow. Like, I'm the type of person where I don't like having people in my circle that aren't better than me in some aspect. And I know that might sound crazy, but all of my friends, whether someone has better vocabulary, somebody works better financially, knows more about stock, someone just has been through things that helps me learn. So all of my support system, they're able to help me grow in a sense where sometimes I don't even know I need it. Like, and financially, my mom helps me. Like, I'm not afraid to tell you, like, she gives me an allowance. I don't work during school. And but I'm blessed to have that because I don't have the mental capacity to work part-time or full-time while being a student. And I have very good, like, my brother and my friends. It's just, you really need to be careful about who's in your circle because those dark times can get dark in college. And if you can't speak to those who are supposedly supporting you, maybe they shouldn't be around. And, that's just my opinion on it.
Okay, so I agree. Um, Coming from my generation, the millennial generation, I definitely agree that a good support system and in college is definitely needed, because you will have some, I don't want to say friends, but you will have some associates that may try to persuade you to do something you're not supposed to do, but it might sound so fun and you see everybody else doing it, and you're going to try to do it or whatever, but that support system should tell you like you wrong and you need to stay on track. So that support system will not only be there to support you financially, but also, like you said, Destiny, mentally, and helping you, stay on the right track. Even though you think, oh, I'm in college and I don't have my mother here telling me what to do. I can, stay out till 2 o'clock in the morning if I want to, and whatever the case may be. But your good support system will tell you, like, get your life back on track.
So can you all say that being in college, you have friends that have like similar aspirations and like you're growing? Because this is the first time in my life, and I go to a PWI, but this is the first time in my life where I've had all Black friends, and it's made a different impact than I would have expected because I don't have to deal with microaggressions. I'm not having conversations where I'm like, that wasn't right. That didn't come from a good place. So it's different and I enjoy it. So how could you all describe like your friendships and how that's making an impact on you, being that you go to HBCU, Seth, and you go to PWI, Bree, and even Crystal, like your experience?
Well, going to HBCU, I believe that like it's more like lively just because Black people like to have fun with Black people. I definitely can say though that having friends in college is actually really easy, but it's not easy to really claim who your friends, because a lot of people do not have the best intentions for you, or they only have the best intentions for themselves, which leads you to like a very bad direction in life. So in college it's very important to like find good people with like good morals and like have like a future on their hand.
Now, I definitely agree with Seth as far as those friends that may not have like good intentions, or they might be a friend just because they see that you're getting A's and B's in history and they want to borrow your notes or something like that. But um yeah, so it's easy, but at the same time it's hard because you have to discern who is, you have to be able to discern who is for you and who's against you. And as
Yep.
far as going to HBCU, the culture is totally different. Like I can't say anything about a PWBI because I haven't been to one, but the culture of an HBCU is, of course, because we live in the culture. That's something that we are used to and something that we can definitely relate to. Now, I don't know, like Destiny and Bree, maybe you guys can speak on attending PWBI. And I said, wait, is it? Yeah,
PWI.
PWI. I said PWD, but PWI. So maybe you two can speak on, I guess, the culture around that. And so, yeah, I mean, but I know I can, but it's just the culture difference.
Well, Bree, you can go first.
Okay. Well, having said that, so my experience like coming into PWI started in high school. I came from a predominantly Black middle school, elementary school, and coming into that space was like a huge culture shock. Just trying to fit in and, I guess my Blackness was like loud in it, and I just was like, and I played basketball. Um, and like trying to make friends was kind of rough a little bit, but I felt like most people were being friends with me because I was athletic, um, and yeah, socially I would not really try to go to functions or events or anything like that too often at all because I was just books and basketball. Once I got to college, it was just like I was swimming by now. Like I know how to code switch and navigate, through, this kind of like lifestyle. Um, and I guess like having um, that identity of being a student athlete, it made things a little easier for me socially, to connect with people. And, you have um, professors and coaches and things like that, basically handing you these networks and connections to, go here if you're feeling some type of way, or call them, or, go here. They kind of, set you up for success. And yeah, so like networking and meeting people and just exploring that kind of lifestyle was rather a little bit easier. But I'll say with friends, um, you just really have to find a connection with someone. Um, just a simple familial connection, and if it's strong, that's just, they need to stick around, and not just for the benefit of you know climbing the ladder, I guess, professionally, but just for support.
As my experience with PWI started a little earlier on too. Middle school, I was one of the 5 Black students in my grade, and to me, I don't know, because I was so young, I didn't notice certain things until later on that didn't make sense. Like one time I was at my friend's house and his tree got struck by lightning. It sounded like a gunshot. I was scared. So I ran to the floor, put my head down like this. He was like, I don't know why I feel like you were trained for that.
Hmm.
And at the moment, laughing, but looking down at it now, it's like, okay, was that a microaggression? Was there something more to it that I didn't notice at the moment? And we laughed at it because we were friends. But now that wouldn't slide with me. So I'm glad that I've been to predominantly white schools. And I can't sit here and say that it hasn't impacted me negatively, because I do think that, like, I was straightening my hair a lot. I didn't have like too many white tendencies, but I definitely wasn't in touch with myself as I am now. And it wasn't intentional to fit in, because I've always been that approachable black girl, and I hate that term. And it's not something that sits well with me, but I can say that it helped me to, I'm not surprised about what happens now. Like, if someone I used to be friends with ends up saying a racist comment, it's no longer surprising. It may be disappointing because I didn't want you to be like the rest, but it's no longer surprising to me. And I feel like I know how to, instead of react with a fight mentality for those type of conversations, I know how to handle it with grace. And I don't think that I would have had the same mentality if I hadn't been so prepared. But it's also sad that that's the lifestyle we have to live as well.
That just to get my 2 cents in again, but that what you said, Destiny, as far as it wasn't intentional, but you realize some, some of your
Hmm.
some of your ways have changed based on your environment.
Yes.
So I feel like that is, I don't want to say it's natural, but like,
Hmm.
because it's your environment, people adapt to what they are around. So because you know how you can have somebody that is like that move in a different state, they might not have an accent when they move there, but when they move back to where they're from, you might realize like, oh, she's
Yeah.
starting to talk like them and so forth. Like, where that accent come from? You ain't had that before you moved away. Because I went to school. My school was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You
So,
sounding country.
so a lot of people did say like, "Oh, you got an accent." When I moved back home, I mean, of course, I couldn't tell because I hear it and I'm used to it every day. But around other people that I haven't spoken to for a long time, they may realize it. So I feel like it's because people adapt to their environment.
Hmm.
And you, like you say, it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm trying to fit in, or I want this
Hmm.
person to be my friend, or so forth and so forth. It's just you adapting to your environment.
Hmm.
So I do got another question. So you know how back in the day, like, that people, your grandmother might be like, you better go to school. Education is important. You don't know, these people fought for us to be in these
Hmm.
seats, or they fought for us to be able to even go to college and get an education, and so forth and so forth. So I want to ask you guys, as college students, current college students, do you think young people value education as much as the older generations did? And how important is a college education from your point of view, from your perspective?
Mm, well, I don't think the younger audience really, I guess, cherish like education, because I mean we live in an age now where like social media is really like how people lives is, you know, made of. So like everybody wants to be an influencer. They don't really want to take the time to like gain some type of knowledge or, do hard labor, because, essentially people just want to live an easy life.
I agree. How about you, Blue?
um, I think I think like, like in grade school, my parents, kind of like, you know, conditioning me and my younger brother, that like education is important. Like y'all are going to graduate. And my parents did not graduate from college, or my mom did not attend college. My dad did, but he did not finish. And I think as I got older, and I got to college, I think I kind of deviated a little bit from that belief, just due to the fact that, like, in this digital age, there's so much information and resources and um, just information and things out there that you can research and be successful without a degree or without that education. It's all out there on the internet now. And I think, the digital age has a huge influence on that. Um, However, I think to each their own, like how they, their historical background and influences, I guess, make a difference in, like what education means to them and how important they want to, strive for it.
At least for me, I believe that it depends on who you're speaking with, because some people, I think a lot of the people that I speak with in person, like in college, they're going to school because they feel like they have to, or they want to be a nurse. So you need that degree to become a nurse. But there's plenty of people that want to just make money, and they want to do what they want. They want to be aesthetically pleasing on social media, and they could make their way through that. It really depends on what people you're talking to. Me personally, I'm in college because I feel that I want the degree to be my backup. It's not necessarily because yes, I want to educate myself, but I believe that I could go to the library and educate myself. I think that I could speak with people. You learn from people who are really in the field too, more than you would a book. Like me going to college is more like it seems like a plan A, but it's kind of a plan B. It's because I don't my aunt isn't Oprah Winfrey, so I just can't step into the field like that. But I do believe that you can be educated without going to college, and I wish that people stop having that negative connotation of people who didn't graduate or like just don't feel like it's for them, because they are smart, they are black, and some aren't black, but they are smart and black. The people that we're discussing, and they're not here, but that is okay.
I find myself in situations in like little debates with people who don't attend college, feeling as though like my college degree won't have value after I graduate.
Mm.
So it's always like a debate on whether or not you know it's worth the time and effort, because some people, they really just don't value I, like knowledge. They don't want to. I
Hmm.
feel like they just don't want to like grow in that area of life, and then there's some who do. So then it almost becomes like a competition on whether or not like it's worth it or not.
Hmm. And I think it's also a part where some people begin to believe that they're better than others because they went to college and got a degree. Like there should be no elitist mindset. We're all equal in the eyes of God. We're all, and like take that, no tea, no shade, take the piece of paper away and let's see how devoted you are in your field. Because some people are book smart, but when it gets to the field and that internship, you're struggling with someone who may not have went to college and taken those courses could excel in. And there's also the problem of a lot of people my age believe that a bachelor's degree is like a high school diploma now. So we're trying to get masters. So it's like it depends on who you're talking to.
And to add on to that, Destiny, yeah, like I had a friend actually ask me, what I wanted to do, and I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, you don't need a degree to do that, and it just really made me think. It really made me think a lot, and I was like, so why am I in college? I'm in college to, earn all these accolades and credentials to
Mm-hmm.
apply, for these federal agencies that hire those with, certain bachelors and masters nowadays. Like that's like the minimum now. So I'm like having to trying to catch up, and versus doing like nonprofit work. I want, I just really want that like financial stability and I guess benefits. So I think that's the battle I'm having. because my position and what I want to do kind of doesn't exist. So,
But you can make room for it.
absolutely.
Right.
Nice question. So, how can I say this? I want to say this like the best way I can. Do you feel like college should be like forced like high school? And if so, like, should it be something that should be free?
That was one of my questions too.
Because where I stand in that is I personally feel as though everybody should have the opportunity to want to excel. But then again, they shouldn't have to feel like they're less than just because they choose not to. So I definitely believe that college, there should be like some maybe free, institutions that, maybe they might not have the best books, but it provides the opportunity to grow. Because some people, they want to have the opportunity, but they just don't have the funds.
Right. I have to agree. Now, I feel like college should be should it, I don't want to say it should be forced. It should be an option, whereas like you said, Seth, people don't have to worry about taking out a loan or worry about they're going to be $50,000 in debt if they choose a certain school. So I feel like it should be to a point where if you do choose to go to college, then that can be an option and work around it. Like, why is high school a mandatory, but excuse me, but you gotta pay to go to college to further the education? Now, this goes back to the fact of, is education, do you value education and is it important? Now, I was listening to what all of you guys said as far as, is it important? I feel like an education is important because you don't want people to get over on you. You want to be able to know your rights and have knowledge in what you are pursuing. Like, Destiny said you can go to the library and do your research and all that good stuff, but to have it in books where some people well, a professor will actually teach it to you and break it down to a point where you'll be able to grasp the concept or understand it better than just going to the library and doing research and reading a book. Even though when you pursue your master's, even your bachelor's, you have to complete um, a 15 to 20 page paper about this or that or whatever. But your master's, you have to complete a dissertation where you have to present research on top of research, case studies, and all that. So, I feel like it is important, especially if you want to, like Bree said, the financial side. If you have a degree or the higher education, the more money you'll make, the more you are looked at as an asset to a company rather than someone that went to that graduated from high school. Now, I'm not putting nothing against anybody that didn't pursue a degree or higher education, but at the same time, that's what a lot of companies and organizations are looking for to move further in a certain position. And going back to the medical field, like Destiny mentioned something about nursing. So going back into the medical field, if you don't attend college, I feel like medical degree is like the longest schooling ever, because there's so many different terms, and then you got to think about dealing with all aspects of race, nationalities, people backgrounds, the rich people, the poor people, the homeless people, the drug addicts, and the young people, old people. So it's like you gotta navigate all of that. And I feel like without a proper medical school education, you will not succeed in that type of field. Now, other fields, if you choosing not to go in the medical field, I can't work in the health field whatsoever, but that's not me. But like if you choosing to go another route, then there, obviously are other options besides school. And I know I feel like I'm talking a lot, but going back to the social media aspect of this generation, like this is technically a technology generation where social media is like the rule of everything. You got some people that didn't even graduate, that may not have graduated high school, but they got 150,000 followers on social media, and everybody know them. Everybody, they are an influencer. Everybody do what they do, or might want to wear what they wear, or so forth and so forth. So speaking on social media, do you feel like social media is has I don't want to say negative, but how do you feel about social media having an effect on the your generation now,
um,
as far as it relates to going to college and college students? So
I think
what are your thoughts about that?
I think with social media, which I hate, sometimes people make it seem like everything's peaches and cream. Like how you were saying earlier, like you need to have certain things that you need to pass in order to get to the next level, and then like be a doctor or even a broadcast journalist, anything. But with college, they don't take into account everyone's learning style. I'm more of a presentation girl. Give me a certain amount of days, I can tell you that I understand the material. I can give you scenarios. And a lot of times in colleges, midterms, exams, everyone's not okay with that. Everyone's learning styles are different. Social media just makes it seem like it's peaches and cream. You're going to the bar on Thursday nights, Thursday to Saturday, and it's like, oh, she's living her best life, but it's really not like that. And it's sometimes like some people do. Sometimes people forget that college students, yeah, we party, we have a good time, but a lot of it's our outlet because it's stressful. Like it's not the going to the Terps football games and the basketball games. It's not the pretty pictures all the time. But social media will make you think that it's glitters and gold, and that's not how it is.
Um,
Bree or Seth?
I, I was gonna add on to Destiny. I think it's a matter of this thing called like instant gratification. Like I'm a millennial, so um, but just like trying to understand like a younger generation and like with social media and like the college culture. Um, I think we're getting it's becoming the norm to have this instant gratification everywhere we go all the time. Um, and like being able to just document everything, but there's some things that we can't document, that we choose not to document, which is the times where people are more vulnerable. And it's becoming like one way of like communication, like the only way of communication for a mass amount of people. And it's like just creating a barrier um, for, I think, a lot of students, which in turns into like depression and mental health issues, and which is starting to become a high percentage in younger generations today.
Just to chime in on that, I believe that social media has an effect that it's good and bad, but in a way, I feel like it gives like a false like representation sometimes, because most of the time on social media you never see the bad side of somebody's life. So you may look at somebody and think like, oh, they're getting A's or they party and they're doing well, but I mean the college experience is the easy
Or
experience.
they cheated their way through.
Yes,
Mhm.
that some people will scam and they really don't know what they're doing. I mean, I mean things are changing currently, but I mean we had people who had like Zoom classes and they would not pay attention, just cheat, and they can get their degree type of thing. So when it comes to social media, I think I don't think it's bad, but I think it's something where you should probably focus less on because it kind of affects your own view.
Okay, so I agree, and I'm just going to chime in real quick. So when I was in high school and beginning of college, their social media was not as prominent as the way it is now. Like,
Didn't y'all have MySpace?
yeah, and then Facebook, it was no TikTok, it was no Instagram, it was MySpace, but Facebook, you literally had to have a college email in order to even have an account. And now it's like any kind of email address, Gmail, Yahoo, whatever, but you had to have a .edu email
Oh.
address to even have start an account. So it's like the way that, I guess, because technology is like bigger now than it was back then, because now you have um what is it called,
Lives.
huh?
You have live videos.
Yeah, you can, and then like I know a lot of people my age and older will probably be like, they lucky it wasn't no social media when I was in school, because people go live and just record and just post anything just for likes and comments and views and all that stuff. So I feel like I wouldn't say it has a negative effect, because social media has its positives where you can network a whole lot through social media. You can um connect with people in a different state, like to different time zone, whatever the case may be. But people have to use it for its good and not
Right.
um for the negative side. Like, don't follow somebody just because you think that that's how that's what you want, because how they got to where they are, you don't know what they had to go through. So it's like you can't try to be like somebody else when actuality, every person, God is putting every person on their own path. So for you to want to be like somebody that's on social media, to me is beyond crazy, because they just doing it just because, when you, I don't know. All right, so we gonna get off this social media. Um, Brent, go ahead. Destiny, what you was gonna say something?
So I had a question for you all. Will you enforce college on your children? And would you be upset if your, children didn't want to pursue that college lifestyle?
Now, I can answer that question being as though I have a child. I would definitely not force it. If she wants, my daughter is 9, so I have a couple of years before that even comes to the table in my house. But I would not force it, simply because, from my perspective, from my point of view, college is not for everybody.
Mm,
Now, like, I'm gonna go back to the point Destiny made, where different types of learners, like how people learn. You may be a visual learner, you may be a what is it,
like a presenter.
yeah,
Like,
or somebody that um listens, or somebody that see, or reader, or whatever the case may be. So I would not force it on her. If I wouldn't force it on her. If that's what she chooses to do, then I'm going to support it. But I am going to make sure that she is going on the right path to a successful career, and not just, being out here doing nothing with her life. I'm going to, I feel like as a parent, you have to get your child involved in different things so they will be able to know what they like and what they don't like. I don't want to force it on her, or you know how some parents might might have wanted to do this when they were younger, but they couldn't. So they
so they
try to
try to.
child do that, or force this on their child. Like me personally, if I get my child involved in a lot of different things and expose her to different things so she'll be able to do what she likes to do and not what I want her to do. No matter, I'm going to support her either way. And I wouldn't be mad if she decided not to go to college. But I guess, um, I don't know if y'all have kids, but I guess y'all can speak on that.
I don't have kids as of yet, but I wanted to ask you a question, Crystal. I know this was kind of like the last topic we were talking about, but just like hearing you talk, like I feel like that's going to be me. But I wanted to ask you. You said you have a daughter, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Um, does your daughter like does she have access to like social media or like uh, internet or whatever what it is? Like, is she
She,
around other kids that are on it, and like how does she react or feel? Like,
well, yes, my daughter, she does have a TikTok, but do not have like Facebook, Instagram, all that. She just be on TikTok, and she has access to like YouTube videos, and there are some kids in her school. She's 9, so she's in the 3rd grade. So she has um, friends that does have Instagram and
Mm.
Facebook and all that. So she comes home and asks me, "Mom, why can't I have Instagram?" No, you can't. And then you got to be 13 to have Instagram. So I don't even know how these younger kids, their parent allowed them to lie, or their parent might not know, whatever the case may be. My child does not. So
okay,
she just has a TikTok, and she just got it obviously during the pandemic when everybody was just in the house doing TikToks.
wow. And like the parents are making like pages and stuff for the kids and babies,
Yeah,
and I'm just thinking like I wanna I want to like hide my child from that. Like they ain't gonna have no social media, but then again you can't protect them from everything. And I'm like,
right.
the friends are gonna have it. They're gonna be asking questions, and it's just you're gonna be y'all are gonna be like this a lot.
I
So
feel like it has to be a balance.
yeah.
Like I don't mind her having a TikTok, but I will not allow her to sit there for 3 and 4 hours straight with her head down in the phone, laughing and giggling at a TikTok. If you, I think it needs to be in moderation.
Gotcha.
So I mean, you said you wanna hide your kids, but technically you can't,
Yeah.
because if they have access, especially at a age where they are able to remember logins and all that good stuff. So once they get to that age, of course they're gonna ask. Now you can say no, but at the same time, they're gonna feel left out. So I said it's not necessarily like shielding them, but it's protecting them in moderation. So that's why
Mhm.
I feel like it just has to be a balance.
I like that. Okay. But
Yep.
to answer your question, Desi, when you force college on your children, no, I agree 100% with Crystal. I think that as long as, you know, you know, you expose them, I expose them to, different things, etc. What's out there, and again, just protecting them with moderation. Um, the sky, I'm always going to teach them the sky's the limit, whatever they want to do. But if college is not a part of that path, then that's just how it's going to be. And I'm a very faith-based person and woman, and I'm just going to keep preaching, that God, guides them.
Right.
Well, growing up, I was forced to go to college. I mean, it kind of was like something where it's like you won't really become successful unless you have.
Mhm.
So when I do have kids, I'm not gonna sit here and force them to do it, but I believe that it's really important to be like honest with them. So like with whatever degree that they want to pursue, you can like be honest and say like maybe it's not worth the time. But then again, I wouldn't stop my children from pursuing a degree because I think it's something that's like a bonus.
Um, As far for me, I don't think I'll like enforce it. Like they won't be forced to go to college. Like they'll know that it's an option. I plan on, Lord willing, if I'm financially well, have like a college savings fund. But if my daughter or son wants to do like a trade or start their own business, I'm gonna tell them like you don't have to go to a 4-year university, but you can go to, if I'm still here, CCBC, take a business management class, learn some of those vocabulary words so you understand, like, oh, when you're in meetings and they're using these words, they're not scamming you, they're not tricking you, so that they have a better understanding. But they don't have to. Some people just want to go for the experience. And if they want to go for the experience, that's fine too, because I value my college experience. I think I've learned a lot just in the matter of a semester. Like just this semester alone, I've learned a lot with myself, the people around me.
Well, I agree with the experience, but then again, college is so expensive that when it comes to my kids, I hope that like they wouldn't want to just go for the experience itself. Because I mean, it's definitely something that like for people who has not went to college, it's something where it's almost like the in between stage. You know, you're not in the real world, but then again, you have the freedom to do whatever you want. It's almost like, you know, like a pre example of what to come in real life.
But I think also what's good is that we all here know how to lead by example. I think we're all kind of involved in school or have been involved in school. So that might make your child want to be a part even more. Because you can go to college, get a degree, and still not have any experience. Because what club did you join? What did you do outside of going to class? Did you learn anything? Like, did you meet new people, different cultures, if possible? If you're not doing and getting involved, I feel like your experience isn't the same.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that goes back to the culture part that I was speaking on earlier, and even stepping outside of your culture. If you go to a PWI, stepping out of your culture to, you know, make friends with the Caucasian girl that lives in the hall down the hall next from you, and not necessarily judging based on where she came from, and then they are, you know, not judging you based on how you look or where you came from. Because you got some people that, some college students, Black college students, that go to school because that is their way out of the hood, and they either they're on a scholarship, they got a scholarship for academic scholarship or athletic scholarship, whatever the case may be. That's why they attend college, because they like, oh yeah, I can do this and I can do that. And then I feel like in athletics, that can take you far in college, because you can play in different am I frozen?
You're a little choppy, but
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like it's okay, but I was gonna say, as far as like the um college athletes, like that is opportunity in that for, and I feel like that's why most people, like young, I don't want to say poor, but underprivileged people might attend college if they are on a scholarship. So really quick, the time is like winding down, and I wanted to give each of you an opportunity to share some advice. What is some advice you would give to a young college student today? Like, what is some advice? Well, no, I'm not even going to say college student. What is some advice you would give to a high school student that is thinking of pursuing a college career but don't is on the fence about it? What is some advice you would give?
I have some
Whoever wanna
advice
go
ready,
first.
but I was trying to be nice and give y'all the
have so
floor.
much I want to say. Like, well, I will first start it with that it's not like college is not like what it's made out to be. So it's not strictly about the books. So you know, you have opportunities like that's you're saying about organizations and how you know, you have opportunities to meet people. So I definitely would advise someone to like connect and network with people, because those connections can definitely bring you further than the actual degree itself.
Amen.
For me, I think the advice I would give to a high schooler is to just weigh out all the pros and cons, and like what are your goals, like also, you know, set aside your goals, like look at all that, see where things align, see where things don't align. Also, like, you know, financially, like what you can, like, know what you are like allotted in terms of, like, you know, financial scholarships and things like that you can apply for. Take advantage of uh, experiences and, you know, volunteering, um, internships, just so you can get used to, I guess, like work life, or something that you're interested in doing. Really find your passion, or kind of start somewhere where you think you can grow, and develop, to become, you know, someone, or, you know, just something that you're interested in doing. Just take advantage of the opportunities that are available.
And I want to speak to specifically Black girls and Black boys. To the majority of the population, this is the white man's world. But please do not be afraid to make this world yours. Don't be afraid to let that light shine. Don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. I know that it's almost always so easy to be a product of your environment. And if you haven't seen someone go to college but you aspire to, put in that work, get some help, learn your best study habits, and don't be afraid. Also, you don't have to play a sport to make it to college. You can get scholarships just off of what's in here. Just be devoted and understand that you can be the change that you want to see. You just have to put in that work. It's not easy. It's not going to happen overnight. But make sure you have faith within yourself, even if others around you don't, because at some point, someone will see that light within you and help you shine.
Yep. Kind of piggybacking off of Destiny real quick. Something I also wanted to add, it was like, be comfortable with being uncomfortable sometimes, but stay locked in your identity, because you're going to be soul searching for the rest of your life. Enter, you know, be in spaces and let it be known who you are, and just, you know, spread positivity, love, and, you know, just be who you are, and embrace that. And yeah, and things will follow.
I also want to add, keep the end game goal in mind, and also myself, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I was supposed to graduate spring 22, this spring 22, but it's okay not to, you know, complete college in 4 years, as long as you keep your goal in mind. That's all it's about.
Amen.
Okay, so I have to agree with all of you, and the show is like coming to an end. So I just want to thank you guys for joining us in this conversation related to college students, and, you know, sharing your experiences and just having this conversation with us. And I just want to thank our viewers for joining us on this Young and Bold segment. So just be sure to catch the Young and Bold segment the fourth Monday, right? Yeah, the fourth Monday of each month, right here on Elevation Global Media Group. Thank you guys for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Crystal and Destiny, for having me, and also Seth. Nice to meet you.
Thank you to all. I definitely enjoyed my time in this interview.
No problem. Have a good one.